All right, so for today's video, we have a look at the Adidas NMD S1. This is a new model that came out in very, very limited quantities on the Confirmed app. I don't know more release information on these yet, but big thank you to Adidas for sending this pair over because I did strike out on the Confirmed app. Any which way, we'll get into the review on these. But quick, before we get into the video, tell me how many trefoil logos you see on the outsole traction of the shoe. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. What is going on, guys? Hess here. Hopefully you're having a good day out there. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video. And if you guys are new to my sneaker channel and you guys enjoy sneakers, please consider subscribing. If you haven't used my website, Collective Kicks, I post a bunch of sneaker deals that I shop around and find for you guys on official sites like Nike and Adidas and New Balance and Foot Locker, Eastbay, those type of sites. This pair of sneakers though, man, I've been wanting to get my hands on these since the very first images surfaced from Pharrell, who was wearing these, the new NMD silhouette. Now I know a lot of us struck out on the Adidas Confirmed app when we were trying to get a pair of these, including myself, but crazy enough, Adidas sent me over a pair, which is just super, super rad. So thank you to the people over at Adidas for sending these over. Much, much appreciated. This is such a crazy looking futuristic pair of sneakers that there's a lot to cover in this shoe. I also want to do a comparison between these and the Ultra Boost 21 as well as the NMD OG. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, and I will be doing a follow-up video to just kind of do a direct comparison between those two sneakers, as well as probably the Yeezy 380s, because all three of those kind of have some similarities that lead up to this. Now, from Adidas words on the app, it said, Adidas Nmd S1 Shoes, cloud white, chalk white. $180 was a price point on these, and it says, explore the city, escape the city. Both are options in these. The Adidas NMD S1 shoes. In the next chapter of the NMD story, these running-inspired sneakers pair classic NMD elements with a stripped-down design made for the city and beyond. The supportive boost cushioning and sleek textile upper keep you comfy every step of the way. It has a textile upper, boost midsole, rubber outsole, which we already kind of know. And I don't know who's taking the product shots for Adidas now, but the product shots for the NMD S1s on Adidas Confirmed app were really, really dope. One of my favorite pictures though is an overhead view of all the components that make up one of these sneakers. So there's literally 7 components that make up this shoe, including the laces. You have the laces, you have the upper, you have the insole, you have the 2 side panels, you have the encased boost, and then you have the outsole. They did a really good job of stripping it down to the basics, but giving it such a crazy look. Now, obviously, the little rubberized parts that are encased in the midsole are considered in that side panel. But still, there's a lot of elements to this shoe that make up the look of them, and there's only 7 of them that they showcase, which is wild. Now, I got some pros and cons to go over with you guys first, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into some of your guys' questions that you guys hit me up on Twitter with. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's at heskicks. The first pro for me is the box. I mean, this thing is crazy. It's super, super heavy duty, first of all. I love that it's a traditional box top, and I like that they included this little card as well. It just says NMD S1 that's like embossed on it, which is just a fun little extra that they did. They also have a rubber band here that you can pick up and move over, and you could see the dust bags, which is the other thing that's cool. They come with specialized dust bags, and this is in the standard box for $180. So pretty cool to see that they included some extras for that premium price point. I mean, $180 is a lot of money, but they made you feel like friends and family almost with this type of packaging. It also does come with all white extra laces, which is nice. If you want to take the speckles off, you could go ahead and do that if you'd like. However, the extra laces aren't as fancy. There's no rubberized wax tips at the end, like the red and white ones that you get on the laces on the shoe, so I definitely prefer the ones on the shoe. Also, to complement the packaging, you have some heavy duty tree inserts here. These are really nice. Definitely kind of reminds you of like the Jordan 11 era. Has NMD S1 on the back and the logos on the side, which I think is really dope. You have the trefoil logo over top of one, and then the 2 dashes over top of the other section right here. I like the clean look of the logo. This also does say NMD S1 Edition 1 2021 Q3, so that's kind of cool. And then on the front of the box, it has that same information, but it also says full length internal boost, 3D Primeknit upper, and then white core black. But really cool box, very premium branding on there. Definitely a pro in my opinion. Next pro is this is obviously an NMD model, which if you didn't know, NMD stands for nomad. And a nomad is a person who does not stay long in the same place and is basically a wanderer. And I think that like concept of like nomading around, walking around the streets of like the city or something like that, I mean, that's what you picture when you're talking about NMDs, which means it's kind of like the casual lifestyle side of things. It's not a serious running sneaker by any means, but this one elevates everything to the next level with the S1 over the R1s, which again, I'll do a direct comparison later, but these are way bigger midsoles, way heavier, definitely like more substantial than like the thin midsole that you would get on the NMDs. Some people really like that NMDs, and honestly, they're so different. It's like two completely different things. It's obviously a different model anyway, so they are literally different shoes. But for those that wanting that comparison, if you like the NMD R1, that doesn't mean you're gonna like this shoe because they are so incredibly different. But for me, that's another pro because the design elements of this one is so vastly different from the NMD R1. It's completely unique, but it has some similarities to some other models that we know and love. It kind of reminds you of the Adidas Ultra Boost 21 because of the shape of the butt, or the Yeezy 380s because of the shape of the butt. It's very chunky. I mean, super mega thick boy style here on this midsole. Then you have that Yeezy-esque vibe right here down the middle of the shoe with that like fish wire mesh across the 3 stripes. The style is definitely eye-catching and won't be for everybody because it's so extreme. I think that's a good thing about sneakers is that everything isn't made for everybody. And it's okay if you think that these are ugly and you can't see yourself wearing them. Other people like myself look at it and go, dang, those are crazy. Like I really want to get them on feet. It's like exciting to get something different on feet instead of your standard pair of sneakers. And that's definitely what these offer. Moving on to the outsole, the trefoil logo design is super dope. I love that they integrated the trefoils all over the place. It looks really cool. You have that kind of block section right here, like similar to the traditional NMDs, but the trefoils are all over the place, which is really cool. It's just nice that they have like that lifestyle branding really thick on the bottom of the shoe, and it adds a lot of traction to the shoe and kind of a more rugged trail feel as well. If you do look closely through the circles, you can actually see the encased boost midsole inside of the shoe, which is another pro of the fact that they use Adidas Boost technology. Obviously, we'd expect it with Adidas Nmd, but this is the first one that I know of that they use encased boost on. So it's really cool to see the integration of the encased boost. It's like they took the original NMD midsole and then literally encased it because it's that much bigger than the original one. So I like the overall structure and the look of the encased midsole, but it is really big, and the stack does set you up really nice and high. The next pro for me is the evolved Lego plug look. These little plugs on the side of the shoe are crazy looking. They were always crazy. People always equated them to Lego bits because they looked just so wild and different. And they had 3 different ones on the original ones, one on the forefoot here, one on the side heel, and then one on the inside heel as well. I don't think that there's actually any functional usage for them, but they look cool, and these ones definitely stick out quite a bit. They look like wings in the back that just kind of protrude out, and I like it. I mean, it's not so crazy aggressive that you're like, whoa, that's like super out of place. The way that the shoe comes together, like it does stick out, but you're like, it kind of goes with the shoe. It looks pretty rad. For me, it's kind of like the Sakai waffle. So you have that crazy exaggerated midsole that sticks out and all is nuts. Like this is like Adidas version of that, where it has this exaggerated rubberized sections that kind of stick out the side. It looks cool, and in my opinion, I think it's a cool design element. I like the fact that they could probably do a bunch of different colors in those as well. And it will be interesting to see what colorways we end up getting of this, and like more of a mainstream drop hopefully coming soon for you guys. I also like the branding on the side. It says NMD S1 trefoil logo, and then you have Edition 1 underneath that. Another pro for me is the additional details of embroidery on the upper of the shoe. I think it's a nice welcome addition to have NMD embroidered on the heel of the shoe right here. I think it's just clever. It looks cool, but it's also like a double thick Primeknit because you can see on the outside of the shoe you have embroidery with black on the outside, and it doesn't bleed over to the inside. And it's definitely heavy duty right here and very stretchable, which I do like that the tongue and the heel is very stretchy, easy to get on your feet. Also mixing and matching the red and the blue in this shoe just a little bit. On the tongue you have a little blue dash here and then a trefoil logo on the inside. However, on the other shoe you have the trefoil logo on the outside and the blue dash on the inside. So they flip-flopped it here and there. And so there's one extra element of blue, one extra element of red, and then on the laces they have blue and red. And it's funny how those small little details make this feel so much different other than just being like a completely black and white shoe. I don't know why, but super small details, very nice. And speaking of the laces, those rubberized lace tips are another pro. The Primeknit over the toe box section is actually really firm, definitely different than the stuff around the collars. I prefer if this was the same as around the collars though. For the laces, they went away with the extra materials that held down the shoes. You have actually integrated loops of Primeknit instead. So kind of like that, it's very seamless. And the last pro, which is probably the most important one to you guys, is the comfort of the shoe. How are they? Are they comfortable? I would say yes, they are comfortable. You can definitely feel the Boost midsole for sure, but they're different. They're different on feet than anything we've seen in the past. If I had to compare these on feet to anything on the market, I would say maybe somewhat similar to the NMD trails because of obviously the crazy trail lugs on the bottom of the shoe, but also that mixed with the Ultra Boost 21. I think that's overall what you get with these. You definitely feel the Boost more than the original NMDs, and you feel it probably a little bit more than the Ultra Boost as well. But there is some nice soft squishy feel underfoot, especially in the heel strike of the shoe when you're walking around, definitely like that. But if you're looking for comfort mixed with lightweight, this is not the shoe because they're super heavy, which brings me right into some of the cons. This thick boy is heavy. This thing weighs in at 1 pound, 1 ounce each shoe. So this is heavier than a Jordan Retro, and it definitely feels like a boot from the midsole down. It's so heavy. That being said, some people aren't going to like it because of that. Other people are going to be okay with trying and experiencing something new on feet. Comparison to the original Primeknit R1s, these things are 9.5 ounces, so significantly heavier at 1 pound, 1 ounce. I would also say as a con for the fit is not true to size in my opinion personally. They fit kind of like the original NMD R1 Primeknits, which these ones ran a little bit big. So I went with a size 9 instead of a 9.5. These definitely would fit better if I got a 9 instead of a 9.5. The toe section for me definitely has a lot of wiggle room. So if you go true to size, you might have a little extra toe space down here. But leave a comment in the comment section. Let other people know what you guys think for the sizing. I personally think that you should go down and have a size 9 would have been better instead of a 9.5. And the last con for me would probably just be the knit material over top of the toe box. I don't know if this Primeknit is prime blue or prime green. It kind of feels like a prime blue type material or something like that, but it's very rough to the touch. And it is a little bit flimsy, and it would have been nice to have that same stretch material that we got around the collar in the toe box section, but that's just me. I think it would have matched closer to the original R1s because the R1s had a really stretchable Primeknit in the toe section of the shoe. This is definitely a lot harder. So we'll see what they end up doing with all of the different models. Some of them may have harder material, some of them may not. I guess we'll see as the S1 evolves. So to answer some of your guys' questions that you had on Twitter, Michael Tadao was asking about the stability of the shoe because of the angle on the back. Honestly, I could see this being a stability issue if you're really trying to do like crazy heavy activities. You probably shouldn't be if you're going to be wearing these. If you're walking around, you should have no problems. Bart asks if there's an insole or not, and you can see there's an Ortholite insole inside of the shoe. It literally says Ortholite right down here. When will these be dropping? They already dropped on Adidas Confirmed. I tried posting them to you guys on Collective Kicks and on Twitter, so if you don't follow me over there, you guys should be trying to do that. I'm assuming we'll see more colorways and stuff come out in Q4, so as soon as I see them available, I'll be posting them. Your Korean dad, Nick, asks, love that guy, by the way. He really blew up in the last year, which is super dope to see. Much respect to Nick over there. But he was asking, what does the outsole come from? I have the Alexander Wang Adidas hike lows, and they had an outsole that looked very similar, and he said, well, they were a little bit different, but they did have trefoil lugs. So that's a really good call out that the AWs actually had the trefoil lugs around the outsole of the shoe as well. This one does have some trefoils on the inside of the shoe, and then as I mentioned, this little plate right here is very similar to the NMD R1. So it seems like an original outsole that you might have used some inspiration from the AWs though. T-Dub asks, how much do they weigh in comparison to the OG NMDs? Yeah, they weigh a lot, 1.1 instead of 9.5. However, that 9.5 is a size 9. This is a 9.5, but still. Midsole comfort comparison to the Ultra Boost. I'm going to deep dive into that in another video because I really want to give it a fair comparison. I'll compare it to the Ultra Boost 21, the originals, the NMD R1s, as well as the Yeezy 380s. I got to put them all on side by side and then take some notes, and then I'll have a follow-up video for you guys. Shimmy Shake says, how do you think the Adidas will evolve the NMD S1? There's a little bit of hype around this silhouette right now, which is something Adidas has a hard time handling. So I hope they have a graceful approach and don't oversaturate the market. However, we need enough pairs to start satiating the palates of the people like you guys that are watching the video to hopefully be able to get a pair in your hands. Anyways, thank you again to Adidas for sending this pair over. You guys rock. It's super appreciated. And if you guys like the video, please drop a like in the video. It lets Adidas know that you guys support the channel. and maybe I'll get more cool fancy things in the future, which is always awesome. If you guys missed my previous video on the Futurecraft 40, please go check it out on my channel. This one is a really dope shoe, and I'm going to dip dye this one some crazy colors, so we'll see how it turns out. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by, watching, much appreciated. Have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you guys back for some more videos. All right, peace guys.